Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chassis Variant series with myself, Critical Rocket, and we're still with Madcat Mark II. This is the Madcat Mark II 4. Now, the 4 variant has 4 ER large lasers, 2 in each arm, and 2 LRM-15s, 1 in each side torso. It is a bit different from the other Madcat Mark IIs in that it has no ballistic options, but it does allow you to have an extra jump jet, so you can have a maximum of 4, and you have a maximum of 4 missile hardpoints, 2 in each side torso. So it's pretty effective, damn good mech, and I mean, as a quick review of it, yeah, it's good, it's very powerful. Most of this is going to be talking about how weird this match was. It was a nighttime battle on River City. One of the maps I quite enjoy these days. I used to have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it, but I've come to like it a lot more over the years. And yeah, this was strange. Most of this match is just me pot-shotting at enemies in Upper City, on the opposite side of the river. And I'm not sure what their team was trying to do. It seemed to be a case that they were trying to possibly push across the bridge or maybe cross the river, but it looked like at least a third of the team didn't want to do that, so it ended up in an awkward situation where they just tried to sort of hold that ground, but either they didn't have the firepower or they just didn't have the positioning, but they just slowly got burnt away. And I just used the ER larges and occasional LRM fire to do a bit of damage. And that was it. Most of the time when you play River City, you expect the fight to be around where I am now, which is around the MechWarrior Academy. That's what I call it. I don't know if that is actually what the building is, but that location is usually where most pushes occur, and when it's usually Upper City, the whole team will charge across because you're way out of position when you're defending on this side of the map, but it didn't happen. So it just created this very awkward match that was a bit strange. It was perfect for this mech because it's all long range, so as soon as targets were available, it meant I could use all my weapons. And the Madcat Mark II 4 is pretty good for basically being able to bring a crap load of missiles if you need to. I imagine this thing probably works better with ATMs of, I'd probably say 9s rather than 12s, because you get enough ammunition in those 4 launchers that you could turn it into something of a more brawly build. High heat is an issue. 40R larges, even on Clantech, is still going to massively overheat you very quickly, so firing them in 2 and 2 bursts is worth it. Never Alpha Strike with 40R larges. The damage might look good, but it's just not going to work, especially with MWO's paintbrush tactics with lasers and the hit detection as it is. You will end up in a situation where unless the target is stood perfectly still and you've snuck up on them, there's no real reason to fire all those weapons in one spot because your damage isn't going to apply to that one spot the whole time due to a mix of ping from both players and just hit detection in general. It's what I've noticed for a long time with lasers. It's one of the reasons why people fire multiple lasers at the same time, is because it's the best way to guarantee that you're going to put a majority of your damage in one area rather than what actually happens, which is paintbrushing, which spreads across the mech all over the place, and it makes lasers seem less effective than they actually are. One of the issues that I think PGI have never quite been able to fix, sadly, with MWO. And it's one of the things that applies for this mech as well, is that it just struggles under that heat load. So unless you've got a nice clear line of sight to your targets and you're not being focused, which is quite rare, let's face it, for an assault mech, yeah, it's not worth firing all those lasers. The LRMs work quite well though, so they're not quite as hot. But as I said, if I was going to customize this thing, I would probably go with an ATM build and switch out the ER larges to medium pulses and turn it more into a kind of brawling mech. So a mid-range brawler I think would work best for this thing, because you modify the engine, you get nice speed out of it, skill it up as well, so you've got better heat dissipation, and you don't have to worry too much about ammo, and obviously max out the armor quirks and maybe a couple of speed tweak nodes, and yeah, this thing's very friggin' deadly. But yeah, as a stock configuration, it's quite fun. It plays very similar to a standard Madcat, just lasers and missiles. So yeah, it's pretty cool. The extra jump jet, I don't think you'll even notice really. If anything, you can probably just remove the jump jets from most Madcat Mark IIs, because I know jump assaults make sense on tabletop, but in this game, because of the way thrust works and lifting mechs off the ground, it's crap. So Highlanders and stuff like that are supposed to be quite agile for their weight class just don't get any benefit from jump jets. So honestly, unless unless you're going to put a load of points into jump jet nodes to try and get extra lift and maneuverability out of them, just remove them. You'll get a few tons back, and you can dump in a couple of heat sinks or something. Oh, point of note, this mech also has a light active probe in the head, so it does actually work quite well to support fellow assaults in your lance to detect any ECM mechs that might get too close, especially things like ECM equipped piranhas and such, because I think there is an ECM equipped piranha, isn't there? I know there's a couple of lights with that anyway, like Arctic cheetahs and mistlings and stuff. But this map is actually winding down. As I said, it was an odd one. It was mostly in the dark, and they were all miles away from me until the very end. As I said, it was a strange match. I don't know what happened. As I said, occasional pushes. I think they got one kill, which was on some guy in a scooter, and the rest of it was just a horrible, slow, grindy death. I don't know what happened to that team. I really don't. If you were on that team and you remember this match, like, if you could comment and let us know what happened there. Was there like communications issues? Were people on the in-game comms trying to get people to move, or was it just a case that everyone was just sort of a bit standoffish? No fucking clue. It was a weird one. Anyway, I think that's the end of that one. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time for some Flea chassis variant videos. Yes, Flea releases. So, bye bye.